Joe? I mean, you've been in the coordinator seat before.
Yeah.
You've been out of it for a while. Now you're back in it. What's this like for you anticipating this first game?
You know, I think that's there's so many emotions and feelings that I have with that question, but I think it's every year this is the most exciting time of the year. It really is, just because all 32 teams right now are they're perfect. So everyone's excited. Everyone has huge aspirations and huge goals, and I'm just thankful and excited for the fact that it's here. And I've enjoyed every stage of the process with this group. We have a phenomenal group of guys. This really truly has been a lot of fun, even though it's been a grind and it's been hard. Anytime coming in new, putting in a new system, it is that. But it's been a blast. From the whole experience with the 90-man roster down through cuts. We've had a bunch of great guys and have an incredible room of guys. We really do. This team, the staff, there's some special people. So I'm excited to finally go to war with them, and can't wait.
So what's the process like of, it's not a new scheme, but it is, I mean, it's a familiar scheme with like quarterback with a totally different skill set. So from your perspective, what's this prep been like?
Well, first and foremost, I have all the respect in the world for Coach Payton. The job that he's done over the years. Of course, he had Drew for so many years, but there was times where Drew wasn't in the lineup, and they kept it moving at a high level. So have a ton of respect for him. So even though of course number 9 is not there anymore, the play caller is still there. The guy that's kind of designed everything, if you will, the last however long Sean's been there, 15 years. So I don't expect really anything's going to change. They're kind of unique in the sense, obviously, they have not one quarterback that you got to talk about. They got 2. So again, that brings a dynamic. But Taysom has proven that he not only is just a guy that can come in and play a few snaps at quarterback. In Drew's absence last year, he started games and won NFL football games. So he proved that to a lot of people. So great system. They have a lot of great players. This Callaway kid's kind of burst onto the scene. I know Mike isn't playing right now, who's their lead dog receiver, but the Callaway kid is proven that he can play. Obviously Alvin Kamara is one of the best players in this league. So got a lot of weapons. We're excited about the challenge, and can't wait. Okay.
Hey, Phil, when the first time that your guys go out there, most of the time, you've been trying to test them, but you haven't been really schemed against like Sean Payton is going to scheme against you. Are there going to be, how well will you be able to just like grind through some of the things that come up that your guys haven't seen within your scheme?
Yeah, I mean that's not just this week. That's going to be every week. That's life on Sundays in the National Football League. So, I think the big thing is, we talk about all the time that an NFL football game is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and there's a lot of ebbs and flows that happen through the course of a football game. And that kind of, when I go back to the character that I think and the just the group of guys that we have in that room, in that locker room, that's where you feel really good, because things aren't always going to be happy and sweet and rosy through the course of a 60-minute NFL football game. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a grind, and of course there's going to be things that aren't going to go our way. But that's the beautiful thing. We come over on the sideline and talk about it, and go in at halftime and make adjustments and talk about it, and then we grind through it for 60 minutes, 2 30-minute periods at a time, and that's the thing that's exciting about it, though. I can't wait. Just like I mentioned before, just to go into that setting with this group of guys. I'm really looking forward to it, because we got a great group of guys in that locker room.
Anything unique about the talent you're taking into Jacksonville that you've been able to hone down from the time you first got here, and we're just kind of figuring out exactly what you have? What kind of caught your eye most about the 11 to 17 guys that are going to be playing for you, or however many?
Sure, well, first and foremost, we got a group of guys that have done it at a high level, we got, and then we got some guys that are kind of, the Eric Stokes of the world who are kind of coming onto the scene. So I mean, that does excite you when you got a group of guys that have not only done it at the NFL level, but they've done it at the NFL level at a high level, and that's the thing that's exciting. But every year, guys, it's kind of the thing that we talked about, the excitement of the new year. There's going to be a guy that none of us have talked about, or none of you guys have written about, that's going to burst onto the scene. And to me, that's the thing that's kind of cool, just to experience and be a part of, to see who that person's going to be. But I know I'm repeating myself. We got a great group of guys that I'm really looking forward to this, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun and going to be challenging. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be hard. There's no doubt about it. But every NFL football season is. But it's going to be a lot of fun to go do it with this group.
Not asking you to pick who that guy's going to be, but who's maybe a guy that, not that we're not talking about, but you wouldn't assume is a main guy who has really caught your eye in the last couple of weeks?
I don't know. I don't know if I could pinpoint one specific guy. Obviously, I picked Eric just because he's brand new and he's a rookie. But I mean, there's a number of guys that I'm excited, and it's not only the unknown guy. It's I'm excited for our proven guys. I'm excited for Jair and Savage and Za'Darius to go out and show who they are in the 2021 season. I'm excited for Kenny Clark. We got a phenomenal group of guys. I'm excited for Dre, as a brand new Packer, to show what he's all about. So, it will be cool to see who that new guy that burst onto the scene is, but I'm excited to see these established guys, to see what this year is gonna be. So it's I'm repeating myself, but I think you guys can see I'm really excited about this. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Every year is, especially at the beginning, but it's something it's been a long time. It feels like the end of the season was 10 years ago.
Kevin King was pretty darn good 2 years ago when he was able to stay healthy. It's really the only season he's been fully healthy.
Yeah.
What have been your impressions of him since he has been practicing in full the last couple of weeks?
You know what? He's, we just voted on captains, and Kevin is a guy that I've been so impressed with, because I'm big about consistency. I think you guys have asked me specifically about myself before, and I just try to be the same person every single day when I come to work. I can say that about a number of guys, but that's how I would describe Kevin King. He shows up every day, and he grinds and he works. He was dealing with some bumps and bruises this offseason and even in camp, but he showed up every single day and was locked in, was wired in, and it's been great the last week and a half, 2 weeks, just to have him every single day out there playing. You specifically with his position, you can't have enough corners, and to have Jair and him and Eric and Sully, it's exciting to have. You can't have enough cover guys in this league. So it's been great to have Kevin back and back at 100% and feeling good, and I'm excited for him.
Joe, on Devondre for 1 second, going back to that, how have you seen him sort of pick things up, since he got here, and what does a linebacker with his type of skill set do, for a defense?
Sure. Selfishly, I wish we would have got him earlier in the process. If you guys remember, he basically got here the last week of the off season. So I mean, he was, I think he'd tell you, probably the first 2 weeks, probably 10 days to 2 weeks of training camp, he was, just learning new terminology, learning a new system, and now it's amazing you know, especially for a veteran guy. Dre's played a lot of football. You know, he's started 80-something games in the National Football League. So, but from a skill set standpoint, you know, he's kind of a guy that can do it all. You know, he's got unbelievable size, unbelievable length. I think that's a trait that's kind of overlooked sometimes with inside linebackers. A lot of times people talk about length as an outside linebacker. You know, that's a great trait to have when you're an inside linebacker as well. And I don't know if you guys have ever had the chance to actually stand next to him. He's a big man, you know, and but it's been really neat to kind of just see him kind of get interjected into our defense, not only the linebacker room, but the full defense, because he's just got a great presence about himself, and really excited to see what he's going to do this year.
The way Matt uses guys, you know, game to game, you never know who's the emphasis in his offense.
Who did you say, Matt?
Matt, yeah. With different personnel groupings and things like that. Do you envision that a little bit with your defense in terms of using guys week to week who might match
Sure.
up, or do you prefer to just have your regular
No,
guys?
I mean, I think I am a firm believer that, you know, again, it's about consistency and knowing your role, and, you know, we're firm believers that, you know, we want to play fast. We want to play fast. We want to play physical, and part of that is knowing exactly what to do, getting into a rhythm, a routine. But at the same, you know, in the same breath, you know, we teach a philosophy and a system, and I think one of the things that is neat, once we get that philosophy and system in, guys can play multiple positions, you know, especially, you know, from a defensive back standpoint, they can play multiple positions in the defensive backfield. Same thing with our linebackers, you know, same thing with our front. So I think you can't go overboard with that. And I think as the system goes, as time goes, guys get more comfortable with that. They can expand their role a little bit more as time goes on. But yeah, I'm a firm believer. And quite frankly, it boils down to every player's completely different. You know, some guys can't handle a big menu of things to do. Other guys really can. And I think that's our job as coaches to, you know, the guys that can't, hey, just let them hone in on their specific role. But guys that can have an expanded role, if they can handle it, we surely will do that for them.
If Zadarius were unable to go, how would you feel about Rashan Gary playing an entire game outside there?
Well, again, you guys have heard me say, you know, in this league, you can't have enough pass rushers and you can't have enough, you know, coverage people. And I think we're very fortunate to be able to have, you know, three really good guys on the edge, and you know, Rashan, Zadarius, and Preston. So I'm ecstatic about where, you know, Rashan is and where he's, you know, where he's at from the start until where he's at right now. I'm really looking forward to, you know, just seeing what he's going to be all about this year. So to answer your question, gosh, I you know, Z had a good day today. You know, he really did. You know, so we'll see where he's at, you know, come kickoff on Sunday. But to answer your question, I have all the faith in the world in Rashan Gary. I think he's an unbelievable kid. Works tirelessly every single day, and really excited about, you know, what the future holds for him.